Are you imprisoned if you don't know you're imprisoned? Welcome to Jedi Theater, and I had a crazy dream about a supervillain who was capturing all the heroes and imprisoning them, but they didn't know they're in prison. See, this mastermind, a ghost of a figure, no one knew who he was, wanted to capture all the superheroes and steal their abilities. But he had to do it somehow where no one would know what was happening and that the heroes wouldn't even suspect that they were having their powers being stolen. So this villain went out for a quest to find one form of magic that has only been in a fairy tale. The magic that created Mr. Beast's castle. You see, Beast's castle, the magic was used, conformed all the people in there to their positions, becoming objects that were common to their role. This individual wanted to take that magic and use it in a different way. So he went out to find it, and eventually did, and then created his ultimate goal of a prison that no one knew was a prison. Now, I was invited to the best resort for heroes. You see, it was a castle that when you went there, they would go out of their way to create a perfect room for you as a hero. A room so comfortable, so inviting, you may never want to leave this little vacation. Now, I was a minor hero. Nothing big, just kind of a nuisance to everyone. And big enough one where I earned a vacation, I guess you could say. So I went there, expecting to meet up with this few of my hero buddies. The biggest Comic-Con event of the year. All the heroes were invited. And so I went and started going to room just to kind of bump into Captain America, Nick Fury, Iron Man, and Hawkeye, one of my favorites. But as I bumped into them, I noticed something was off about them. Now, all the servants in this castle kept inviting me to go to my room that was dedicated and time-consumingly created just for me to enjoy, and that they had a meal already prepped for me of my favorite dishes, even though I never told them what those dishes may be. But I was too excited to go rub shoulders with the biggest heroes of all. And so I didn't go to my room and kept going from room to room, eventually ending up in a very basic room where, Robin was hanging out, another minor hero, not like Batman. And we were just chatting away until I noticed he started to get tired out of nowhere. And I was like, "What's going on, Damien?" And he's like, "Oh, don't worry. Don't worry, this is our nap time. During nap time, you'll wake up more refreshed than you'll ever feel than before." And I was confused. He involuntarily fell asleep after explaining what was going on, and he seemed to know exactly what was about to happen, and yet I was not tired. Something was up, and I knew it. So, instead of going back to my room or seeking a servant to figure out why he fell asleep, I decided to hide myself instead. And as I hid myself, one of the servants came into the room, but no longer was in the form of a person. It was more of a shadowy figure, of an energy form, I guess you could say. Came up to Damien and hovered their hand over top of him, reached down into him as if their being could reach inside, and pulled out green energy, or at least that's what it looked like to me, and then left. I looked out into the hallway and noticed several of these energy beings doing the same things in other rooms with other heroes, all passed out. I decided to quietly and secretly follow, waiting though until everyone was moving away from the hero's room so that I could go unnoticed, coming from behind. I was able to follow them to the master of the castle's room, in the West Wing, and found that he consumed these green energies of some sort into himself. Now I decided to go back and wait until Damien, Robin, would wake up, and when he did, he was just slightly less up to par in his sparring match with me when we just went to have fun. I decided to go test my theory out with other heroes and found that Hawkeye's aim was not as true anymore. Iron Man was not as smart. Captain America, not as strong or accurate. Every hero was less than what they used to be, and I could not know why until I overheard one of the servants during the second time that this happened, where I avoided my food still the same. Even during the second day, I knew something was off. And I was in another room and I waited. I found that as they pulled the green energy out of the hero, it was their essence. But by this point, there's murmurs going around that I could not be found during nap time. So I knew the gig was getting up quickly, and I knew I need to figure out something. I still avoided my room and eventually left through the front door. No one stopped me, and I was very confused now. I knew something was off. I knew something was bad. I knew this was a form of a prison, but no one stopped me from leaving. So it made me curious. So I went back in. I went to my room and found it is the perfect environment for me, most comfortable, relaxing. A room that, why would I need to leave ever? It was that inviting, and it scared me. So I ran this time out of the hotel, out of this castle, and got as far away as possible and tried to warn everyone about this villain that didn't exist, stealing the powers of superheroes that were on an invited vacation. No one believed me. So I was left, only to prepare for when this might all come crashing down like a poorly stacked tower of Jenga. And that's when I knew something was wrong. Either way, I woke up. I didn't get to see the rest of this, but I did know, I could tell you this much, that how the beast's power magic was used this time around was not to conform people to objects. It was actually to conform the castle, the building itself, to conform to people, making it to where they wouldn't want to leave. And this dream was very intriguing as I had it, because after I woke up, I was able to very easily track down everything that influenced it, creatively speaking. One being a Brandon Mull book series called The Beyonders. That was an influence of as far as the hotel itself, or the castle. Then obviously, Beauty and the Beast was another influence, and then all the superheroes. So it's very interesting to know all the connections, but then intriguing to see how my brain decided to piece it together in the night. I've always wondered how the brain does that, taking random pieces and creating a storyline that is exciting and fun, and yet still new. That's why I love dreaming. Tell me yours. What kind of crazy dreams does your brain put together using stories or events that you enjoy? Leave it in the comments. Let me know. And until next time, sweet dreams.